Welcome to the Los Angeles Unified School District's Local Control Funding Formula and Local Control Accountability Plan Overview. LAUSD's overarching goal is to graduate all students college prepared and career ready. LCFF helps the district achieve this overall goal by moving away from funding school districts as a one-size-fits-all approach to a new approach that provides extra support for students who need it most. Under the old system for funding school districts, funding for schools did not take into account student demographics, were largely state-controlled, and lacked appropriate accountability measures. The inequities were primarily the result of how the state had responded to court rulings impacting education funding and the approval of Proposition 13. Starting in January 2012, Governor Jerry Brown proposed to revamp the state's education funding system by introducing a new system providing greater weight to specific student populations. In November 2012, voters approved Proposition 30, which provided much-needed temporary resources for students. Finally, in July 2013, Governor Jerry Brown signed into law the Local Control Funding Formula, the most significant change to education finance law in the last 40 years. Under the previous model, there were more than 40 categories of funding, each for a specific purpose identified by the state. With the new funding formula, 3 forms of funding were created, with more local discretion on determining how the funds are spent. By being able to control the funds locally, LAUSD will be able to better serve our high-need students. Let's take a look at this new funding formula. LCFF, also known as the Local Control Funding Formula, is a change in how the state of California funds school districts. This does not include federal funds. LCAP, also known as the Local Control Accountability Plan, is a plan on how districts are held accountable for using state funds in supporting targeted youth. This is a major change from the way public schools used to be funded and will require some time to transition into this new funding system. LCFF stands for Local Control Funding Formula. Local, that means us. Basically, it is a change in how school districts receive money from the state and how they will invest with results. The state is moving away from funding school districts as a one-size-fits-all approach to a new approach that provides extra support for students who need it most. Specifically, it targets low-income students, English learners, and foster youth. The basic funding formula of LCFF simplifies funding for school districts. LAUSD will receive a base amount of funding per student enrolled in the district. In addition, the district will receive adjusted funding for specific grade levels to reflect the differences in educational costs, as well as receive funding for students that require more educational supports. Combined, the base amount with appropriate adjustments provides the funding for our youth. What if a student meets more than one of the subgroups? Does this mean the student will receive multiple supplemental grants? Not necessarily. If a student is identified as low income, an English learner, and as a foster youth, he or she will only receive one supplemental grant under the formula. A district cannot double count a student. Another layer to the basic funding formula that we just saw is what's called concentration. Let's explore the concept here. As we mentioned, LAUSD will receive a base grant for every student. The base grant is adjusted based on grade level because it recognizes that students at each level may require more resources. On top of that, a supplemental grant is provided to LAUSD for every high-need student, that being English learners, low-income students, and foster youth. For even more support, a concentration grant is also provided to the district for every high-need student above 55% of the district-wide enrollment. Basically, our old system was based on a system of equality, which meant we provided all students the same, regardless of need. Our new system relies on a system of justice, meaning we provide resources where they are needed most. LCFF delivers justice to our education system, allowing LAUSD to better serve our highest need students and ensure all of our youth graduate college prepared and career ready. With LCFF, we must remember that this is a multi-year process with an intended target of full implementation after 8 years. As more funds come into the school district in the future, more funds will be available to schools. Please note that it may be implemented sooner if the state's economy improves. Although there are legislative requirements, as you can see below, what does this ultimately mean? It means LAUSD must make every funding decision through the lens of how LCFF funds benefit English learner, low-income, and foster youth students. What is the LCAP? Local Control and Accountability Plan is a plan on how districts are held accountable for using state funds and supporting targeted youth. Specifically, a district-wide plan is developed which encourages telling a story of support, impact, and improvement for students. It emphasizes good planning, communication, and engagement. It must include meaningful stakeholder engagement, district-wide goals and progress indicators, as well as list actions, services, and expenditures. Let me emphasize, this is a district-wide plan created by LAUSD with the input from parents and the community. Annually, each California school district will, with meaningful stakeholder engagement, develop a local control accountability plan to address 8 state priority areas designated by the state legislature. These priorities are not new to LAUSD. This is work we've already been doing. Now we are holding ourselves accountable for succeeding in these areas. Student achievement. This priority area requires the district to provide evidence for how it is improving student achievement and outcomes along multiple measures, including test scores, English proficiency, and college and career readiness. Below is a list of data the district must include in the Local Control Accountability Plan. Implementation of the Common Core. The district must provide a narrative for how it is moving forward with implementing California's academic standards, including the Common Core state standards in English language arts and math, next generation science standards, English language development, and numerous other academic standards. Student engagement. The district must provide details on how it is engaging students in the district to increase student attendance and address students who are chronically absent, along with other required data points you see below. Parental involvement. The district must demonstrate how parents are being engaged and involved in the local decision-making process that supports educational programs of students. Basic services requires the district to demonstrate how it is providing all students access to fully credentialed teachers, instructional materials that are aligned with state standards, and safe facilities. School climate requires the district to outline how it is providing a positive environment at school sites with the intent to reduce suspension and expulsion rates. Course access requires a district to show how it is ensuring all students have access to classes that prepare them for college and careers, regardless of what school they attend or where they live. Other student outcomes. Measuring other student outcomes related to required areas of study, including physical education and the arts. Some data to consider would be other indicators of student performance in required areas of study. May also include performance on other exams, such as the SATs or PSATs. If you wish to review any of the 8 priority areas further, click on the appropriate title. Otherwise, click Next to proceed. Here is an outline of the LCAP development process. A district must develop a draft plan. Then the district must ask for written comments from the community. This can be done through a variety of ways. After that, the district must present the draft plan to both parent advisory committees. Next, the district must ask for comments and recommendations from the public in a public hearing. After receiving all recommendations from the public, the district must respond in writing to all comments submitted by the parent advisory committees. To complete this process, a final plan must be adopted by the Board of Education in a public hearing. As a reminder, the LCAP will be created by LAUSD as a whole with parents and other stakeholder groups. State law requires the district to present the LCAP to the following parent committees: the District-wide Parent Advisory Committee and the District English Learner Advisory Committee. The Parent Advisory Committee was established to represent the various parent interests in LAUSD. To ensure there is equal representation, each educational service center has a total of 8 appointees, along with the board appointee representing each board district. The District English Learner Advisory Committee focuses on English learner needs in the district. Each educational service center is represented by 10 parent members with 2 alternates.